What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Run Your Race Show, episode number 17, with your host, Akeem.
And Chanelle.
And first and foremost, before we get started, as you can see, we're a little bit more relaxed right now, sitting on the couch. And I promise you, as the show continues to grow, so will our production and everything else that comes with it. We're going to get 2 mics. But we also want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show, everybody that has supported the show since day one, all of the new subscribers that have subscribed and following us as we talk a little track and field, a little life. We really, really appreciate it, and your support is greatly appreciated. So we have a lot to discuss on today's show. And like we've done the past couple weeks, we're going to start with the top 10 performances of the week. Number 10, Femke Bol with her 52-50 world leading performance at the European Championships. What did you think about this performance right here?
I think it's hard not to put a world lead into the top 10. And so that's why she made the cut. She took that world leading spot away from Sydney, and Sydney will probably get it back at the upcoming US trials. But Femke is very consistent. She's been running fast since indoor, and I think she's trying to figure out a way to take down Sydney. It's going to be hard because Sydney's just Sydney, but everyone's excited to see those two go head to head in Paris next month. So just really respect Femke's consistency is what I see.
Hey, we got to make sure that they both make the team. You know what I'm saying? This you got to do it on the night, on the day. But this is what it is about when you are. I think it's really cool when you have, Europeans, and then you have, the North Americans, and you get to see what other people are doing across the world. And you say, wow, she just ran that. Okay, watch what I can do. And it brings that rivalry, whether they think they are or not, they are, right? Because they run the same event, and they have brought some of the most exciting performances that we've seen in the recent years. And so I'm not surprised by this. And I'm sure Sydney, when she runs, she's going to be like, okay, that's how you want to play. Watch what I can do. But very good performance. As Chanelle said, anytime that you can get a world lead, there's a good chance you're going to make the Run Your Race list. But 52-50 world leading time, Femke Bol. I guess that goes to show what type of times and throws and stuff that we have on our list this week. But she comes in at number 10. Number 9, this might be the first time that we've done this, but it's a shared spot. Quincy Wilson and Lisa Ray, they are both not even seniors in high school yet. I don't even think that they're juniors. They might be in the 10th grade. Quincy Wilson, 45-13, and Lisa Ray, 11-2, and then she doubled back and ran 22-7 at New Balance Nationals. I wasn't a track and field child prodigy, but you were, so you can speak to a little bit about this, but also tell me a little bit about from the pressure that comes with running so well, because from our understanding, Quincy is going to compete at US Championships in a couple weeks.
Yeah, first and foremost, shout out to them. These are crazy times, and like you said, they're not even seniors yet. So just fantastic. And I remember being their age and running fast and getting all this attention. It's fun as long as you have a good circle around you, keeping you humble, keeping you healthy. I had that as a child prodigy, and that's what you want. You want the right people in your corner. I think going off to the US Championships or the trials this week, they just got to remember to do their thing. Just keep doing what you've been doing. I went to the trials when I was a senior in high school, and I tried to change up my strategy, and it didn't work. So that would be my best advice. Just what you've done all season, go out there and do it. Have fun with it. Really, the pressure's not on them. The pressure's on the pros looking at these high schoolers like, I can't let these high schoolers beat me. There's no pressure on the high schoolers. Go out there, do your thing. Don't switch anything up. And they may, I don't know if Lisa's going, but Quincy, he may make that team, even if he doesn't come top 3. 6 people go for the relay. Maybe even more than that, because don't they do like the mixed relay now?
Yeah, that's right.
So he has a very good chance of making his first Olympic team as a high schooler, which very few people have done. So I'm excited to watch them run.
Great advice. I think the only thing that I want to add to that is I remember talking to Coach Dan Paff years back when I was running. And he said something to me that kind of always stuck with me. He said, man, Akeem, the biggest problem that people do when they come to a major championships, no matter the age, is they get there and they don't do what got them there. And he was like, if you run what you usually been running, there's a good chance that you're going to run well and you'll make a final. And then in the final, anything can happen. So Mr. Wilson and Miss Ray, you guys are number 9 on our list. And I mean, the future is bright for them, but I can understand the pressure that comes with it as well, too. But, I'm sure they got a good team around them. And as long as they remember, take things one day at a time. And I like what you said. Don't let the ego be too high, because track and field is going to humble you very quickly. Things change. So Mr. Quincy Wilson and Miss Lisa Ray, number 9 on our list, and we keep it pushing. Man, we have another high school guy, but we've talked about him before. We're talking about Mr. Christian Miller, 995 at the New Balance Nationals. That puts him number 2 to himself. So what do you think about this performance here? And just to add, he didn't run the finals, and he too is going to run at U.S. trials this weekend.
Yeah, I think smart call for him not to run the final. I think they're looking out for his health. The trials is a lot on the body if he does progress through all those rounds. And so this was probably just a meet to prepare him for the trials. And again, he really just has to go there and do what he's been doing all season, not let the fact that you're standing next to Olympian or a world champion overwhelm him too much. I know it's easier said than done, but continue to do what he has done all season, and really just excited to watch these high schoolers at the trials this week and next week.
Anytime you can put forth a sub 10 performance, like that's going to put you in a great spot to be able to make this team. In most countries, a 995, that's getting you, in that top 3. It's just, America is one of the hardest teams to make. And I think it was a good call for him not to run that final, because that's 3 rounds. But he hasn't also ran a whole bunch of hundreds this year as well. I think him and his coach, kind of when he opened up the way he did, run 993, ran it early. His coach was just like, man, let's just make sure we get you healthy and go there. So my biggest thing for him, and especially as younger athletes, it's the rounds. Mm-hmm. The rounds are difficult. Right, because sometimes you're warming up nicely, you're feeling good, you're just like, I'm just gonna go for it today. But in sprinting, sometimes you got to go for it, but the next day your body won't let you go for it. So I think he's just gotta run the rounds strategically and not try to go 9-9 every round.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, but you also want to prime your body to be able to run fast. So I mean, in the heats, just do what you got to do to make it out the heats. And then the semis, that's when you kind of turn it up a little bit so you can get a good lane. But I mean, I think he has a really good opportunity to make this team. We'll just see if he can execute on the day, and, we'll see what happens. But another great time. Number 8 on our list. We keep things pushing. We're going back overseas to European Championships to Mr. Juan Marco Tambiri, 237. To win the high jump at European champs. For those that don't know Tambiri, he's the guy that has like half clean shave and half like Beard. What did you think about this performance right here? I mean, 237, man, That's high.
Yeah, it's funny because you told me this and I was like, I sounded a little dumb because I don't know what that means. And that's exactly what you said. You're like, that's high. And I was like, I'll take your word for it. So yeah, shout out to him. I'm taking your word for how good this really is, because I don't really follow the high jump as closely as I should. I will now because they're jumping like this. But maybe you can give us a little bit more insight on just how high this truly is, because I think you said if a man goes over 230 like that usually wins competition. So maybe a little bit more insight.
Yeah, and I'm not claiming to be the high jump expert by no means, but I look at it as, 245 being the world record. Barshim jumped 243. So he's been the closest. And then there's been like a bunch of 240s in that category. And then I think Tambiri, he's also jumped 239, 238, maybe 240. I could be wrong in that category. But I mean, these guys are jumping over. I'm trying to figure out what would be the best comparison for those that aren't really knowing it. Like how tall would you say like a school bus is?
I don't know.
But when you think about that, they're jumping almost as high as that, and so when you put it in that context, it's like, man, that's remarkable. So this is a very, very high mark. And more times than not, like this jump right here is definitely medaling at any major championships, so I think he's a 240 jumper. He might have been there already. Don't correct me if I'm wrong in that, but 237 is a mark that, we haven't really seen jumps like this in the recent years. And he's a showman, he jumped over, when he faked an injury, and we're just like, yo, what happened to him? Because the crowd went quiet. And he takes off his spikes and he pulls out springs because he's got bunnies. You get it? Like springs because he's got bunnies. He's a showman. I like it. It was different. Kind of when, Maurice Green ran 9.7 and the fire extinguisher came out, he's putting his personality a little bit. But he comes in at number 7 on our list. Looking forward to seeing how much higher he can go. And we know when him and Barshim meet up, man, it's going to be great competitive. Let's keep it pushing to number 6. Man, European Championships was booming over that 8-day span that they were.
Seemed like forever.
Yeah. Number 6 goes to Natalia Kazmarek for her 48.98 performance, 400 meter to win the European champs, number 15 all time. She's been kind of last couple of years, 50 point, then she dipped to 49 and kind of hovering around that 49. But this is a big breakthrough for her, and it puts her in medal contention if she can stay healthy and make that team. So what was your thoughts on this performance right here?
I'd never really grasp how fast breaking 49 truly is until you said Allison Felix never did it. And I was like, oh, if Miss Felix never did it, then it is hard to do. And so I think anytime you break that 49 barrier, just shout out to her. Kudos to her. She's made herself known as someone to be on the lookout for a medal in Paris. Just excited to continue to watch her the remaining of this summer. And she just had to make our list with a number 15 all time. So what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was another great performance. I mean, we just saw what the collegiates did. We saw what Sydney did, and there's still so much more of track and field left. So all in all, this was a very good performance, because anytime that you can run this time, it puts a bullseye on your back as to like, man, I know this person is coming, So if she can keep this up, and I think she can go faster because she hasn't ran a whole lot this year, so her body's still a little bit fresh. Nice. So I think this is a great opportunity for her to say, look, man, I see, Paulino is there. I see the other girls are there. But like, I'm here too, Shani Miller-Weibo hasn't really ran yet, so there's so many different elements to this, but this is only going to make the women faster. But now when you run a time like this, 15 all time, you've arrived. And so now there is expectations on her to perform well. And I think if she can handle the expectations and not get too nervous about the magnitude of what is coming,
Yeah,
I think she'll be fine. I think she's in a great medal contention. And she comes in at number 6, Miss Natalia Kuzmarek, 48.98, number 15 all time. And we keep it pushing to number 5. Halfway through, number 5 goes to Mr. Ferdinand Omanyala, 979, 100-meter champ once again at the Kenyan trials. He's now 977 was the number 9 time, and he comes back with the number 11 time, 979. What did you think about his performance right here?
It's fast. There's, it's fast. You talked about the bullseye being on Kazmarek's back now, and I feel like I thought, okay, now Omanyala has a bullseye on his back, but what we're seeing online is that no, he doesn't, because he can only do that in Kenya. He can't do that at Worlds or at the Olympics. He can't do it when it matters. And so I'm like, really? And so I really wanted to hear your thoughts about that, because do you agree? Like, I feel like let's give the man his props, but a lot of people are giving him shade. So what do you think?
Yeah, I personally think, man, this is the thing in sports. People want fast times, and then when you get fast times, they say, man, that wasn't at the right place. I can't trust that. Yeah. So it's like the athletes can never really win, So, my thoughts, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not even going to really share my thoughts. I'm going to share more about what people are thinking when they see this time right here. You talked about it. You saw it online. You said, man, his 977 was in Kenya. So now people are going to be saying, and they have been saying, this guy can only run fast in Kenya, but when he goes to major championships, he isn't able to replicate and do what he did when he was at Kenyan champs. So this is all the stuff that Mr. Omanyala is going to have to be facing when he's going into these championships. Now that can be pressure some, it can feel a little bit heavy, or you can say, wait a minute, man, I'm going to show you, because he's made a final at a major championship, so he's proven that he can get there. But it's just when you run a 9.7 anything, it puts this target on your back a little bit more, because more times than not, if you run 9.7 at the world champs or at the Olympics, you're going to medal, probably going to win. If you run 9.8, you're probably going to medal. So I think how he shuts all of this internet talk down is just by going to the Olympics and medaling. He medals, he puts all this to rest. If he wins, no one's going to question him again. So this is all the stuff from the online chatter and everything that it's going to be mentioned when we see a time like this. I see a man that ran 9.79. That's fast. I don't care where it is. It don't matter where it is. But when people see this, because of the history, they're going to be like, man, he ran 9.7 at Kenya. We saw how this story plays out before. And so the only way to fix that narrative, Mr. Omanyala, and and your coach knows as well, too, because he's got a new coach, and he's doing training a little bit differently. So he's got some changes as well, too. But there's always going to be that asterisk is saying he did it at home until he can do it away. So again, I see 9.79. I think, that's fast. Like that's it. Man, I don't care where anybody said. If I run 9.79, you can talk about me all you want. But this is the stuff that comes with it. Elite sports is not fair because the narrative of the goalpost is kind of always moving. But 9.79, he comes in at number 5 on our list, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Block out the noise and make it happen at the Olympics. We keep things pushing to number 4 on our list. Malaika Mihambo jumps a world leading 722 in the long jump to become European champ. I believe this might be her second furthest jump. She's jumped to 730 before, but this is coming off of an injury. What do you think about this performance here and just the confidence that it brings her?
Yeah, when you told me that she was coming off an injury, I said, oh, wow. So jump a world lead coming off of an injury. And like you said, that confidence that you need when you do have to come back from an injury, I think she's right where she needs to be heading into Paris. Another thing you reminded me of is that she is also a multi-athlete.
Yes.
do we know if she's focusing on the long jump or if she's going to be doing the heptathlete as well?
I guess we'll see.
Okay.
You let us know.
Because I would love to see her. I mean, just focus on the long jump if this is the type of jump that she's producing coming off an injury. But hey, she's a great heptathlete as well. So we'll see.
I mean, this is the thing with like the heps and the decks is like they're strong events. They're really strong. And this jump right here, I mean, this is the world leading jump. I believe Tara Davis Woodall is behind her. But this is winning Olympics. And this is at least getting you a medal. I don't see too many women that's going to be jumping this, you know, but it just makes you think, do I go do the hep, you know? And she's a world champion in that as well, too. So she doesn't need us telling us what to do. But, you know, it just makes you got decisions to make. So that jump, world leading jump, 7:22. Miss Mihambo, you come in at number 4 on our list. We keep it pushing to number 3. I mean, Faith comes back and opens up. She runs the 15 and then runs the 5K. And she runs 3:53.98. And then she comes back and runs 14 minutes, 46.28. That's a lot of running. But this is a little bit more up your alley here. But what did you think about this performance right here? It kind of seemed like she just woke up and said, you know what, I'm just going to start to compete today at Kenyan Champ. So what did you think about this performance? And from these times, what does it mean from the average, you know, the casual track and field watcher?
Yeah, I mean, this was a performance that everyone that follows track heavily was anticipating because she hasn't opened up. And we usually see her much earlier than June. She's usually in those diamond leagues. And so rumor has it she did have a little injury. And so no one really knew what type of fitness she was in. Well, she comes out, she starts off with the 5K, not an extremely fast time, but it was a very dominant performance. It was really her coming back in the 15 and running the fastest time ever in Africa and a world leading time where everyone's like, okay, she's back. No questions. And so again, people were anticipating it, and now we have our answers. She's back and she's ready to go for double gold in Paris. So she's one of my favorite runners to watch. I feel like every time she steps on the track, she's setting some type of record, and she's just so kind, so humble. And so she's hard not to root for.
I see she's here, you know, but I got to go with my girl, Gudov Tsagai, you know, so I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. And I think it's going to be an incredible, I mean, she could break the record again. I mean, anytime she touches the track, she's kind of that much must watch. You know, and since we got together, you're the one that started telling me about negative splits. And sometimes you'd be telling me about her stuff. I'm just like, how? You know, so you broke that down so eloquently. There's not much more for me to say. But shout out to you, Miss Faith. We hope to see you soon. Hopefully, you know, we know you're going to deliver, you know, but, you know, we can't cut out my girl Gudov Tsagai. Let's keep it pushing to number 2 on our list. Jordan Diaz jumps 18 in the triple jump to win European champs. Number 3 all time. But to give people like perspective, man, like, him and Pichardo were going back and forth, and we have not seen an 18-meter jump since 2021 or since 2020, somewhere there. That triple jump record has probably one of the longest standing records. Number 2 on that list is Christian Taylor. Christian Taylor jumped 18:21, so Diaz is there. But to many, it seemed like he popped out of nowhere, and to many, it seemed like the mark was off. It's not speculation. I'm just saying what Pichardo said. I got love for Pichardo. That's my guy. But this jump seemed like it surprised a lot of people. What did you think about this mark right here?
Yeah, I think similar to Omanyala, there's going to be a little asterisk next to this until he can go out there and do it again. And so that's how he shuts up the critics. He goes out there and he does it again because it does seem a little out of nowhere. And so again, kudos to him. It's a great jump. But I think if he even cares about what the critics are saying, the only way to silence them is consistency and to show that he can do it again and do it when it really matters, which is at the Olympics. So it's going to be exciting to see those two duke it out next month.
Yeah, I mean, Pachado comes out and jumps 18:04, and he's probably thinking, "Yo, I'm back." You know, he's got an 18:08 mark, you know, but he's been having some injuries over the couple of years. But he jumped 18:04, and he's like, "Man, I'm back." And then this man comes and jumps 18:18, and you're like, "What?" Like it's one of these jumps that just shock you. You're like, "Wait a minute, how did you?" And you're so busy thinking about what he just did, you don't even, your cadence is off, your mind is off. You know, but this is an incredible jump, man. And again, Jordan Diaz, I mean, you saw the back and forth online. You're a part of it. But this is what comes with it when you jump this well, and it may seem like you've come out of nowhere. That's the thing about sports, is sometimes they say, this person came out of nowhere, but it's like, no, I actually been training. Yeah. You know, so I actually been putting in the work, you know, so number 3 all-time incredible jump. I'm looking forward to seeing when him and Pachado are back, and you can't even count out Zango. Oh man, it's going to be a great time at the Olympics when the time comes. But he comes in at number 2 on our list. Number 1 goes to Mr. Emmanuel Wanyoni, 19 years old. He runs 141.70, 800 meters at the Kenyan Champs, number 3 all time. And before I pass it to you, you know, I was doing some research and, you know, doing my due diligence. And this was the fastest time since 2012. There is obviously David Rudisha. I forgot who was in second, but then it's this young man right here. I remember when Nigel ran 141 and his body just like collapsed. This man still like he had energy, you know. So what were your thoughts on this performance right here? And just give me like, for this to happen, give us like a little bit of like the splits. Like, what would that even look like?
Yeah, I mean, he's 19 years old. He's a teenager. And so that right there blows my mind. And another thing, in the first round, the day before, I read that he almost didn't make it to the final because he got tripped up, fell, and just almost didn't even advance to the next round. And so I don't know if he was running angry or what, but this mark right here is unbelievable. Like you said, it's been over a decade since someone has ran this fast, and it's still kind of early. You know what I mean? And when you put things in perspective, they still have some time before the Olympics. The Olympics will probably be a little bit more strategic. They're not, you know, they're going to go for the win, not necessarily the time. But if this man gets on a track like Monaco, where everybody runs fast, you know, it's really scary to see what he can do. But splits, I honestly have not seen the race. My guess would be he probably went out in 49 seconds. And then came back with a 52, somewhere around there. So just incredible. He came second last year at Worlds, so we shouldn't be too surprised, but we are, because again, this time is just in a league of its own when you start putting yourself in the same category as Rudisha. Rudisha has to be proud that it's one of his countrymen that are following in his footsteps. So definitely excited to see him in Paris next month.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember that David Rudisha run. I mean, you know, 140 is like a video game time, you know, and so for others after him to come and to run times like this, we've seen a couple 141s, you know, but it's just like, man, anytime you see it, it's like, wow, that's fast. And all you can really do sometimes is just say, wow, that's fast, because you don't really know what else to say, you know. But as you said, it's early, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do at the major championships, because, man, there's also others coming who are 142, you know, 143. Marco Arap, he's seeing this. He's world champ, so he's going to be seeing, man, I gotta get my stuff together, because it's going to be some really, really fast times at the Olympic Games. So that is our top 10. We keep things pushing because, you know, we got more on deck for today. We got to talk about, Miss Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce opens up her season 11:15. What was your thoughts on this performance right here?
I thought it was a solid start. We don't know if I think she's coming off an injury. That's speculation, but we don't know what she's been battling. And so to start 11 low, I think it's a good start. She's somebody who typically gets better each race. And so I think she's fine. I don't think she probably would have liked to open up sub 11, but she's not far off. I think she ran at like 11 p.m. So I was sleeping. It was late. It wasn't really a high key meet. And for her to go out there, I hear it almost looked like a practice run. And so I think she's in a good spot, but you know much, much more about the 100 than me. So what do you think?
I mean, those late races, man. I wonder why they picked that meet of all meets, because she ran late. Like, we get sleepy at like 10. So maybe they're trying to replicate what it would be like at the Olympics when the time change and everything, getting herself body ready. And I saw the race, and I don't think it was a bad race by no means. I know people were expecting her to run some type of 10-7, 10-8. And yeah, it would have been great to see, but 11:15 is not a bad opener. This is a situation where also, man, Shelly-Ann's very experienced and her coach knows what they're doing, so this could be a situation where this is where I'm at. Couple more weeks to train, go to Jamaican trials, heats, semis, finals. That's 3 more runs. And every single time that you run, that's more speed work. That's more confidence. That's more getting your rhythm. And that's more getting in your zone. And she's experienced enough at the elite level to know, I just got to get my body to a certain point. You need a certain amount of races to become race sharp. She's usually someone who comes out, running 10-8, 10-9, 10-7, 10-6 sometimes, but she's also 37 years old. So she is going to be fine. I thought it was a good opener. I didn't really put too much stock into it. 11:15 puts her right in the mix in her first run, and she is going to get better. And this is the thing with Shelly-Ann too. I mean, she was running blind all the way out there. You put her right in that middle line, and she's going to shock somebody because her start just throws you off already. So I think it was a good run. Obviously, it was probably a disappointment to a lot of people from what the internet's been saying, because they expect her to come out and run 10-7, but she'll run fast when she needs to. She's proven it before. I think she's going to do it again. So I don't have a problem with the opener. I thought it was a good opener. I think sometimes at this point, man, people just want to see you run. We just want to see her on the track. And so we got to see her on the track against track and field. We want to see you run, and then when you don't run the times, we're upset. Yeah. Man, this is her last year. And for those who have been supporting her since her whole career, man, you better appreciate her while she's here. But I thought it was a good performance. You thought it was a good performance. And I'm sure she thought it was a good performance as well, too. Plus, it was almost 12 o'clock, man. Who's got time to be running like that? But just wanted to get our quick thoughts off. We would love to hear from you. What was your thoughts on her season opener? Let us know in the comment section below. 2 more things on deck for our show this week. And we have to talk about USA Track and Field Championships and plus some of the athletes missing. There's obviously a lot of athletes. That's kind of scratched a little bit, but some of the names, TJ McCollum, guy from Tennessee, he ran 9.9. Trayvon Bromell, he pulled out. Michael Cherry, 400-meter runner, he pulled out. Kayla White, she pulled out. Another big noticeable name on the women's side, Britton Wilson, she pulled out from injury. And there are some names that I saw on the list that we haven't seen all year. The defending champion, Cravon Charleston, we haven't seen him yet all year, and he's supposed to be running. But USA Track and Field Olympic Championship, what is your thoughts on this here? Because, I mean, you're USA Track and Field. But what are some of the performances that you're looking forward to? Are you worried about anybody? Are you excited for one thing more than the other? Break us down a little bit more.
Yeah, I just think back to, I went to 4 trials, right? So 2008, 2012, 2016, 2021, and just the atmosphere there, it's very tense, it's very serious.
And the
It,
heat.
it's hot in Eugene. Usually they usually get some, I mean, one year it was too hot, but for the most part it's great weather, and it's just people on a mission. This is, we don't want to have to wait another 4 years to make this team. I may not have another 4 years in me, so it's just people focus. It's just, it's hard to explain unless you're there. But I'm just excited, not really for any one person or two people in particular. I'm excited to see some of the shocking results, some of those like, wow, I never really thought they were going to make it. Those underdog stories. I love those stories. I love to see just the celebration of people didn't expect this person to make the team, but they went out there and they showed up when it mattered. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And yeah, just looking back, it's one of, if not the hardest meets ever. It's just people come out of nowhere. I guess if I had to name someone who I'm excited and happy that she's back, it'd be Jasha Sears from Tennessee. Go Vols. She got injured at, what was it, regionals or conference, and couldn't go to NCAA's, but sounds like she's back. Hopefully she's 100%, because I know as a sprinter, if you're not, you kind of run, even if you are 100%, there's still some hesitation in going all out, and that fear that you're going to get injured again. So hopefully all that fear, all that worry, her team has her ready and she's ready to roll, because she's someone who I think really could make this team. Other than that, two people that are missing on the distance side that stand out are the steeplechasers, Emma Coburn, and then Courtney. Not even going to try to say her last name, but yeah, they are medalists for America. So the women's steeplechase, really lacking two of our strongest contenders, but it gives a chance for other people to step up and make that team. So we'll see who makes the 3 spots for the steeplechase. But just excited. Brings back so many memories, some good, some bad. And yeah, it just really excited to tune in this week.
Man, this is why what you have been training for all year. You're setting up your whole structure to make a team. And this is the opportunity to make a team. And as you mentioned, USA is probably the hardest team to make, because there's so much depth across the board. And there's always the next person up mentality, because literally it's the next person up. There's person who people are really close in times, are really close across every event in America. And it's just going to come down to who is going to execute the best on the day. Because if you don't execute the best, somebody else definitely will. And I'm sure it happens every year. There is somebody, as you mentioned, somebody who you think is going to make the team is not going to make the team. Something might go wrong, whatever the case may be, but there's going to be some upset. Right? This is just sports. This is just how it is, especially in track and field. You might wake up and you might have a little stomach virus, and you're just like, man, and it may take everything out of you to get that warm up in. Like, these things happen. So in a pressure situation, like all these athletes are going to do, man, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, but do what got you there and try to execute that to the best of your ability. You look at a person like Jason Shears, as you mentioned. I mean, yeah, she's got the second fastest time, or the fastest time in the world, but she hasn't competed since SECs. There's a fitness problem that could go, or it might not. We'll got to see on the night, but she has a great chance to make this team if she looks anything like how she did before she got hurt. A couple of things I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing the women's hurdles. I mean, that's always probably one of the toughest events and teams to make, because there's just so much. Any of those women can come out and make that team. Obviously the 100, because I'm biased, but also all the events as well too. And we've even been thinking about, me and you, is still a discussion, doing maybe a recap of, day 1, day 2, maybe not every day, maybe every second day, if you guys would like that. And if we kind of want to do it. But if you guys want it, then maybe that's something that we'll do, because we definitely want to make sure we're giving our thoughts and opinions if you guys would like to hear it. So you let us know in the comment section. So yeah, that USA Champs, it's going to be great. We're going to be tuned in, and we're looking forward to seeing the stories and who makes this team. Lastly, before we close out our Run Your Race topic, man, we saw an incredible documentary, 30 for 30, Butch Reynolds, false positive. If you haven't seen it, we're going to try not to, no, forget that. Go see it. If you do want to see it, but you don't want it to be ruined a little bit, then you might want to like listen to this on low, but you should definitely see it. But this brought a lot of different things in discussion. So I thought we could just talk about it and some of the stuff that kind of stuck out to you. So we watched it together. What were some of the thoughts that came through your mind as you was watching and deciphering some of the stuff that was going on?
I think the biggest thing was how at one moment you can be on top of the world. Your accomplishments have made you more money than you've ever made. You have broken the world record. You've won some medals, Olympic gold in the relay. You're on top of the world. And then literally like your life comes crashing down. And the fact that it was really out of his control, it was really sad. Like it was really, really sad to watch. But his fight and the people around him who were fighting with him and the support of his family, I know that didn't make it like that much easier for him, but it was really inspiring to see how much like he fought to clear his name. And it was just really upsetting how the IAAF handled the situation. Like I got really mad. Like I wanted to email somebody on his behalf. And I think to this day, for them to still not compensate him financially or to just even clear his name, that, it needs to be done, and so I hope as more people watch it, we can bring awareness to the fact that the IAAF needs to admit their wrongs and clear this man's name. And I know at one point he got really low because of the situation, but it really helped to see where he is today and that he is doing better, and he is finding fulfillment away from track by giving back to the youth. That was really, really good to see. So overall, like I want to go watch it again. That's how good it was. And so like you said, everyone should go out and watch it and share your thoughts, because we really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was a couple parts throughout the documentary that kind of stuck out to me that I resonated with. The first part was, we can all have and think back of a moment where, we did something wrong and it didn't work out for us. When he broke the record and he went to the Olympics, and he's like, man, like I fell asleep in the second on the backstretch. And that cost him the race, because he went from like sixth coming off the curve to fifth to fourth to third to second. And he ran out of real estate. He ran out of track. And he was devastated. You're an Olympic silver medalist and you're devastated. Like, I understand that feeling, and you understand that feeling. And for those who have done track and field, like, you understand that feeling of just came up short. So that kind of stuck out to me. But then, he was able to get the medal in the relay, and he ran the 400 meter of his life. The second thing that resonated with me was when he was at the trials after he couldn't run anymore, and the band was there. And I mean, they did everything that they could to try to get this man to run. Everything, his whole team, everything that he could. And throughout the whole process of this thing, I think for me, he still made the final. But he made the final with all the heaviness that was on him. And so the amount of mental fortitude and strength that he had to have and put it on display was just remarkable, because compartmentalization in sport is not an easy thing to do. And not to mention, you're looking around and warming up and everybody dislikes you. and whether they say it or not, you could feel it, so he was able to move past that and almost, well, he did make the team. You get top 6, you're supposed to make the team. And then he went and they didn't let him run. And the third thing that kind of stuck out to me was when the time that he said, man, like I was broken. Like when he said, you could see the look in his eyes, he was choking up a little bit. The man went back to a Olympic medalist, right? Record holder at the time, went back to his old high school to try to get a job as the coach, and they wouldn't give him the opportunity. And it just made me think of my own experiences where it's just like, man, in your lowest times, you truly figure out who the heck is there for you. And it's always this cliche statement and you always hear it. But the thing about cliche statements is when you're put in that position, you realize the truth of it. Mm-hmm. And so it was very touching, man. And just to see how he used that pain to find purpose now, it's kind of like when he let go, that's when things started to find him. And, even towards the end of the video, like he's still not over it. And I don't know if he'll ever get over it. I think he should get compensated, give the man a couple mil, but it won't fully fix everything because of what they took from him. But I gotta say, man, I mean, it's an incredible documentary. You should go see it. It doesn't even matter if you don't watch track and field. It's just a very well done documentary, and there's a lot of depth to it, and it talks more than the sport. It's a great metaphor for life, and I like documentaries. I like stories, and so I thought it was really good. Man, keep fighting the good fight, Mr. Reynolds, man. And he's 60. The man looks good. What I'm saying? Man looks good. What's the workout routine, bro? What you doing? What you eating? So if you have some time on your hands, it's about an hour 35, hour 40. It's definitely worth the watch. But yeah, so that's our thoughts. If you've seen it, we would love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Anything that we missed, please let us know in the comment section below. And we look forward to hearing more from you guys in the comments. And that's it. Episode 17 is out. We'll see you next time.